Well, the other night, the horses didn't come home, and I couldn't figure out what the deal was because I feed them treats every night, so usually they are home before it gets dark. Well, here the next day I found them out in this pasture out here. And of course they were Broncos, there hadn't been cattle in here for a long time. What happened last year, see, there's double fences. That's my property line. This is the neighbor's. And they just put a new fence in last year. So I really was surprised, that they turned up out in that pasture because, like I say, new fence. But there is, way down there is a tree across it. And I think that's where they went. But I'm going to check the whole line out. But I just rounded up and brought them home. Just it happened to be a nice day. So they were, browsing around. And since that pasture, there's a big clear area out there. And it hadn't been grazed all last year because they had such a bad fence. So there's tall grass in there. And them horses would be, they could live in there all winter. Horses dig for grass. Cow will die on open pasture like that, but horses, they're just fine. They're happy. But they wanted to get them treats, so I got them home. And I'm just looking to make sure where the fence is down, but you can kind of see if you look way down there, there's something laying across the line, and I think that's where they got through. But there's so many trees, running. When you run a fence through trees, that's something you got to watch all the time, particularly when all the elms started dying and falling on the fence. When these guys, they hired somebody, see, this is actually State Agricultural College land over here. And they were trying to keep the fence up, and they were having a horrible time of it. They just had students doing it during the summer, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they couldn't keep cows in there for nothing. So they finally just gave up on it. But they hired a guy out of Montana to come in here and fix, I think he redid like 9 miles of fence. So this is all new fence. And when he put it in, he kind of cleared a little bit of a lane, though there's still plenty of dead trees just waiting to come down on the fence. So it'll be an ongoing project. But they kind of cleared a little brush, and then also, really the fence line is supposed to be like way over here. They moved it over quite a little. Yeah, no big deal, but it makes it a little easier to work on. But that's where the horses had got in this alleyway, and then they found that spot down there. But the night after I got them home, I heard a heck of a commotion. Coyotes just carrying on, having a party. Just really whooping her up. And I knew what that usually is a sign of. And I come down here and I found it. This new fence is really tight. And what'll happen, deer will try to jump it and accidentally get, I better take the gun off the fence before I do this. But they'll get a leg caught. Leg gets in there like that, twist them over, and it just pins them. There they hang. So, you had a live deer hanging here, and the coyotes just ate it alive. They had quite a time about it. Smaller deer, the remains of it are laying over there. But, that happens. I find it every once in a while where a deer got caught in the fence. But I could just, at night, if you hear that, they just carry on, the coyotes, when they, there's nothing they like better than something that's still alive and trapped. So they got it. But there ain't much you can do about that. It's the deer are going to go through here someplace. And if they just don't clear the fence, if one leg doesn't clear, they are screwed. If it's, if the wire is a little loose, not so bad, but they really tighten these up. So there was no giving the wire, and it, it didn't even break the leg. I mean, it just pinned it. And that's what the coyotes like. Man, I better check. It's like a quarter-mile of fence line here. Make sure there's no other trees down on it. But it's funny, they took out all the wood posts, put in all steel, and like the corner posts and stuff, they've got buried in concrete, and the guy did a professional job of it, but it must have cost the college a fortune. But they kept, every day their cattle were out on the highway. Well, you can't keep doing that, so, because they weren't managing to keep it up themselves. But I thought it was funny when my horses turned up out in that other pasture because, like I say, new fence. And they haven't, even though the fence is still under the, pinned down by that log over there, they haven't went back over there. It just happened to be a nice day and they couldn't resist getting out. And even they get in here, they can't go anywhere. I'm pretty lucky in that everything of mine is usually butts up against another pasture, so if something gets out of mine, it can't go anywhere. Which was a good thing, because like I said, the college had nothing but trouble, and I was trying to keep cattle out of my pasture this year. So their cattle were generally getting out and going out on the highway. And then they'd come and stand in my driveway, but at least they didn't get in the pasture. But it's common to have these double fences like this. The idea was behind it was, if you had a bull on that side and you had a bull on that side, if they could stay far enough apart, they wouldn't fight. A single fence like this, you get two bulls going, one on either side of the fence, and they'll tear down a heck of a string of fence. Them, or if you get a moose coming through. Moose don't care about fences. They just get mad. They get in the fence, they'll tear down a long stretch of fence just out of spite. But this was just a dead tree, which is what it is most of the time. But once in a while you can see where the moose have been through. But I think I can get down there with a tractor to where that log is. I've got an alleyway by my place where that North Country Trail goes. It'll take me down to that open spot and I should be able to get to the log. But first I got to go up the rest of the stretch here and make sure there's nothing else on it. But at least this explains what that coyote party last night was. Or not last night, like 2 or 3 nights ago. But I figured that was the deal. Because they really get to yipping when they got something hanging in a fence. That's what they really like. It's all fun and games.